Okay, but let me tell you, the feeling of being there, of walking the streets of the future, is really going to be breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking.
With 95 days until Cyberpunk 2077's release on November 19, we're hanging out for any information we can get on the CD Projekt Red futuristic first-person RPG. CD Projekt Red happily obliged our need for information this week with episode 2 of their Night City Wire live streams. Welcome back to Game Gentleman. We've compiled the information from the 2 Night City Wire episodes, along with a few other interesting sources, to bring you 5 things you should know before you buy Cyberpunk 2077. Before we get started, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn notifications on so you never miss an update. Also, stick around to the end of the video where we announce the winner of our Assassin's Creed Valhalla Collector's Edition competition and how to claim your prize. Number 1. Life Paths. In Cyberpunk 2077, players will take control of the character V. Players will be able to customize V's gender, appearance, and skills from a reportedly very extensive character creator menu, along with the character's backstory or life path. The first few hours of Cyberpunk 2077 will differ depending on which one of 3 life paths you choose. Players will be able to select the Nomad, Street Kid, or Corpo life path, determining certain player characteristics along with your starting point in the game. Street Kid will put players on the streets of Night City in an area called Haywood. Having grown up on the mean streets of Night City, you know every shady character you need to know, and they know you, making it easier for you to build their trust and open up opportunities for you to move up in the world. As a Nomad, you start the game in the Badlands outside of Night City, an outsider among outsiders. Nomads are very tribal, and family is very important to them.
Family? This is your family.
It's family.
Family.
That's family.
We're family.
Family. Family.
You begin your quest into Night City after your family has been disbanded.
You don't turn your back on family.
Corpos have worked their way up the hierarchy in the Arasaka Corporation and are somewhat of a fixer. While you may not be as tough or streetwise as the other life paths, you are connected, you know how to read people, and you know how to get what you want. In true CD Projekt Red style, the devil is in the details. You won't just have a different 3-hour intro into the game and then follow along the same storyline as every other player. Each of these life paths will impact your skills and experiences with major NPCs, providing additional dialogue and interaction options. A Street Kid may be able to talk the talk with lower level thugs and earn their trust, while a Corpo may be able to more effectively negotiate. How you take advantage of your unique skill set will be entirely up to you. Number 2. The World. This information hasn't come from either episode of Night City Wire, but from the game's official art book, along with leaks from Reddit. There appear to be 6 districts across the map, further broken down into 15 regions. Cyberpunk 2077's map appears to be smaller in scale than other contemporary open world games, however, this is not necessarily a bad thing. As the core of the action in Cyberpunk will be taking place in Night City, we can expect a dense, vertical environment packed with cramped alleyways and bustling cityscapes, reminiscent of the futuristic megacities we see in sci-fi properties like Blade Runner and Judge Dredd. Contrast that with the vast spaces of the Badlands which surround Night City, and I'm sure there'll be enough to keep all players occupied. Your choice of life path will also have an impact on where you find yourself starting on the map. As a Nomad, you start out in the Badlands and make your way into Night City. Street Kids are born and raised in Haywood, and while it's not yet confirmed, Corpos will likely find themselves starting their story in the downtown district. Number 3. Braindance. One of the core mechanics we were introduced to in episode 1 of Night City Wire was the Braindance. A Braindance will allow you to relive someone's memories, experiencing their senses of sight, sound and smell, along with their body's chemical reactions such as cortisol and adrenaline. As you could imagine with a technology like this, if it exists, there's a black market for it. And we see one of the more nefarious examples of this in Night City Wire, where we relive the memories of a criminal during an armed hold-up right before they're killed. Where Braindances hold a more interesting application than just getting your kicks off of someone else's adrenaline rush, is the fact that you're able to explore and perceive more than what that person may have been able to in their lived experience. If you think about it this way, the last time your adrenaline was surging, you became hyper-focused, almost tunnel vision-like, and while you focus on the task at hand, there may be more going on in the world than you realise. That's where the editing mode comes into play. In the demo, we see V using editing mode to free roam the peripherals in this person's memory, analysing external stimuli to piece together more of the story, and importantly, find out their killer. Think of it kinda like Batman's detective mode and crime scene recreation, but on steroids. Number 4. The soundtrack.
Wake the up, samurai. We have a city to burn.
By this stage, we've all seen Keanu Reeves' Johnny Silverhand reveal trailer first announced at E3 2019. However, for a while there, the nature of his role in the game was a bit of a mystery. Without getting too much into his backstory, which in itself is quite a read, Johnny Silverhand will be guiding the player character V throughout the events of Cyberpunk 2077. Reeves' Johnny Silverhand is known as a rocker boy, a class of rebellious musicians who use their music to fight against authority, and was a frontman for the band Samurai. Samurai's music will be an integral part of the game's soundtrack and atmosphere, and in order to make this a reality, CD Projekt Red enlisted the help of Swedish punk band Refused. The four-piece band have been around since the early 90s and have been an integral part of the Swedish punk scene. Refused have written and composed original songs for the game, channeling Johnny Silverhand and Samurai to bring the band's unique take on anti-establishment punk rock to life. Episode 2 of Night City Wire dives into the process of making this happen and the challenges the band faced along the way. We were also teased further deep dives into more of the game's soundtrack and radio stations in a future episode of Night City Wire. If you're interested in taking a listen, 4 original tracks listed under Samurai are available to stream on Spotify. We can't include them here for obvious copyright reasons, but we strongly recommend you take a listen. Number 5. Weapons. During episode 2 of Night City Wire, we get our first proper glimpse of the tools of the trade that you'll be using throughout your time in Cyberpunk. While we have our core weapon types of pistols, assault rifles, shotguns, LMGs, and melee weapons, where Cyberpunk differs from your usual Call of Duty fare is its sub-classifications. We start with what Cyberpunk classifies as power weapons, which are the closest to the kind of firepower we'd find in our world, with the minor addition of bullets which can ricochet off surfaces, meaning players can take out enemies around corners or behind cover. Next, we move on to tech weapons, which use an electromagnetic force to propel metal projectiles through walls, turning the countless enemies you're likely to encounter in the game into a fine pink mist. Lastly, on the firepower front, we have smart weapons. These are reminiscent of the guns in the Fifth Element, which track and lock onto targets, making your life arguably a lot easier while ending theirs. We also see a number of futuristic melee weapons such as the thermal katana, electric baton, and spiked baseball bat, along with cyberware, which are augmentations to the player's arms and include things like mantis blades and projectile launchers. As you would expect for an RPG, weapon-based skills are upgradable throughout your time in Night City, and in addition you'll be able to upgrade your weapon and customize parts such as scopes, handles and more, along with software mods which can fundamentally change the setup of a gun, allowing for variations in ammunition and more. Lastly, legendary weapons will be found on NPCs you interact with throughout the world, sometimes leaving you, the player, with the decision whether to kill a potentially important NPC to get your hands on their weapon. So that's the 5 things you need to know before you buy Cyberpunk 2077. As Cyberpunk originated from a tabletop game, there is a rich world of lore that you can dive into before getting your hands on a copy. It is a bit of a rabbit hole, so reader beware, you may just lose a day or two digging into it all. Personally, we can't wait for the game. Given its release date and current plans for cross-gen compatibility, this feels like the perfect game to play first up on the PlayStation 5. Are you planning on getting the game at launch? Have you already pre-ordered? Or are you holding out for the eventual next-gen specific remaster? Let us know in the comments below. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, it's time to announce the winner of the Assassin's Creed competition. The winner of our Assassin's Creed Collector's Edition is Fraser Gunn. To claim your prize, go to our channel page, click the About tab, and email us on the email address in our profile. If we have doubts about the authenticity of the email, or we have multiple people reaching out claiming to be our winner, we will ask for one further step to verify your identity. We'd like to take a moment to thank you all for the support across this competition. While many of you have subbed specifically to enter the comp, we've received a lot of messages in support of our channel and the content we're making here. And as a result of the competition, we also hit our first YouTube milestone of 100 subscribers. We hope you stick around and continue to enjoy our content with new videos each week, and keep an eye out in the coming weeks when we'll announce our next subscriber giveaway. This has been GameGentleman, and thanks for watching.